The snow was falling so thick that 17-year-old Jamie could barely see 10 feet ahead of his car. He gripped the steering wheel tighter, his knuckles white, as the old Honda Civic struggled through the blizzard on the lonely Montana highway. Come on, he muttered, watching the temperature gauge climb into the red zone. The heater had stopped working 20 minutes ago and now the engine was overheating despite the freezing temperatures outside. Just get me to Billings, please. But the universe wasn't listening. With a pathetic sputter and a cloud of steam, the engine died. The car coasted to a stop on the side of the empty road and Jamie sat there in the sudden silence, his breath forming clouds in the freezing air. He pulled out his phone, no signal of course. It was December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, and Jamie was trying to make it to his grandmother's house in Billings, the only family member who'd still talked to him after he'd come out 6 months ago. His parents had kicked him out. His older brother had called him names Jamie tried not to remember. His so-called friends had ghosted him completely. But Grandma Rose had called him 2 weeks ago. Jamie, honey, I don't care who you love, you're my grandson and you're coming for Christmas, no arguments. So here he was, driving through a blizzard with his entire life packed into garbage bags in the backseat, trying to make it to the one person who still wanted him. And now he was stranded on a frozen highway with no cell signal, no working car, and night falling fast. Jamie pulled on his thin jacket. He'd left most of his winter clothes behind when his parents kicked him out and stepped out of the car. The wind hit him like a physical force, stealing his breath. Snow stung his face. The cold bit through his clothes immediately. He looked up and down the highway. Nothing, no cars, no buildings, no lights, just endless white in every direction. Fear crept up his spine. People died in weather like this. He'd seen the news stories, stranded motorists found frozen in their cars after blizzards. He climbed back into the Honda, which was already getting colder, and tried his phone again. Still no signal. He was going to die out here, alone, on Christmas, because he'd been stupid enough to think he could make it through a Montana blizzard in a 15-year-old car. Jamie pulled his knees to his chest, trying to conserve warmth, and fought back tears. He wouldn't cry. He'd done enough crying in the past 6 months to last a lifetime. That's when he saw the headlights. At first, Jamie thought he was hallucinating. 2 bright lights cutting through the snow, growing larger, closer. A vehicle was actually coming. He scrambled out of his car, waving his arms frantically, terrified they wouldn't see him. Hey, please stop. The vehicle, a massive pickup truck, slowed down, pulling up behind his Honda. The driver's side door opened and a man stepped out. He was tall, probably in his mid-30s, wearing a heavy sheepskin coat, cowboy hat, and boots. Even in the blizzard, he moved with the easy confidence of someone who'd lived through worse. "You okay, son?" His voice was deep with a soft Montana drawl. "My car died," Jamie said, his teeth already chattering, "and I don't have cell service. I'm trying to get to Billings." The cowboy looked at the Honda, then at the darkening sky, then at Jamie's inadequate jacket. His face was hard to read under the shadow of his hat, but something in his expression shifted. "Billings is still 60 miles out and this storm's just getting started. You got anyone coming for you?" "No, sir." "Well, you can't stay here, you'll freeze." He jerked his head toward his truck. "Come on, I've got a ranch about 10 miles back. You can wait out the storm there. Use my landline to call your folks." Jamie hesitated. Every horror movie, every true crime podcast, every warning about stranger danger flashed through his mind. But the alternative was freezing to death in his car. "What about my stuff?" He gestured at the garbage bags in the backseat. "Grab what you need. We can come back for the rest once the storm clears." Jamie pulled out 2 bags, clothes, and his laptop and followed the cowboy to the truck. The cab was blessedly warm, country music playing softly on the radio. The man waited until Jamie was buckled in before pulling back onto the highway. "Name's Cole," he said, "Cole Hartley." Jamie Morrison, thank you for stopping. His voice cracked, I thought I was going to die out there." "Not on my watch." Cole glanced at him. "What's a kid doing out in a blizzard 2 days before Christmas anyway?" "Driving to my grandma's house in Billings. I was living in Great Falls," but he stopped, unsure how much to share. "It's complicated." "Family usually is," Cole said mildly, not pushing. They drove in silence for a few minutes, the truck handling the snow-covered road with ease. Jamie studied Cole in the dashboard lights. He had strong features weathered from outdoor work, dark stubble on his jaw, and kind eyes that crinkled at the corners. There was something solid about him, something safe. "Here we are," Cole said, turning onto a barely visible driveway. Through the snow, Jamie could make out a ranch house, warm lights glowing in the windows. A barn stood nearby and he could hear horses neighing against the wind. It looked like something out of a Christmas card. Cole parked near the house and grabbed one of Jamie's bags. "Come on, let's get you warm." The inside of the house was exactly what Jamie expected from a bachelor rancher: functional, slightly messy, but comfortable. A fire crackled in a stone fireplace. Western art hung on the walls. A well-worn leather couch sat in front of an old TV. "Guest rooms down the hall," Cole said, hanging up his coat and hat. "Bathrooms next to it. Why don't you get cleaned up and I'll make some food? You hungry?" "Starving," Jamie admitted. The guest room was simple but clean: a double bed with a quilt, a dresser, a window overlooking the dark plains. Jamie dropped his bags and went to the bathroom, catching sight of himself in the mirror. He looked terrible, pale, exhausted, his dark hair plastered to his head from snow. His eyes, usually bright blue, were dull with stress and fear. He splashed water on his face, trying to pull himself together. He was safe. That was what mattered. When he emerged, Cole was in the kitchen, stirring something on the stove that smelled incredible. "Chili," Cole explained. "Made it yesterday, so it's even better today. Hope you're not vegetarian." "I'm not, and it smells amazing." They ate at the kitchen table and Jamie tried not to inhale his food despite being ravenous. The chili was perfect, spicy and warming, exactly what he needed after hours in the cold. "So," Cole said, leaning back in his chair, "Billings is going to be impossible to reach for at least 2 days. Weather Service is saying this storm's going to dump another foot overnight. You're welcome to stay here until it clears. I've got plenty of room and it beats freezing in your car." "Are you sure? I don't want to impose, especially right before Christmas." "Not imposing, I don't have plans anyway, it's just me and the horses." Something passed across Cole's face: sadness maybe, or loneliness. "Besides, it'll be nice to have company for once." "What about your family?" Jamie asked, then immediately regretted it. "Sorry, that's none of my business." "It's all right, my folks passed away a few years back, car accident, and I don't have siblings, so it's just me now." He stood, collecting their bowls. "More chili?" "Yes, please." As the evening wore on, Jamie started to relax. Cole was easy to talk to, with a dry sense of humor and an endless supply of ranching stories. They watched an old Western on TV and Jamie found himself laughing at Cole's commentary about historically inaccurate cowboy attire. "No self-respecting rancher would wear spurs that big," Cole muttered. "He'd trip over his own feet." Around 10, Cole stood and stretched. "I've got to check on the horses before bed. Wanna come? I've got an extra coat you can borrow." Jamie followed him out to the barn, bundled in a coat that smelled like coal, leather and pine and something earthy. The barn was warm, heated for the horses, and several beautiful animals stuck their heads over stall doors to greet them. "This is Rosie, Buck, and that troublemaker back there is Dusty," Cole said, distributing hay and checking water. "Been in my family for generations, this ranch. My great-grandfather homesteaded this land back in 1892. "It's beautiful," Jamie said, watching Cole work. There was something mesmerizing about his competence, the gentle way he handled the horses, the obvious care he took with everything. "You ride?" Cole asked. "Never have, city kid." "We'll have to fix that once the storm clears. Can't leave Montana without at least sitting on a horse." Back in the house, Cole showed Jamie how to work the landline phone. "You should call your grandma, let her know you're safe." Jamie dialed the number, and Grandma Rose answered on the second ring. "Jamie, where are you? I've been worried sick." "I'm okay, Grandma. My car broke down, but a nice man picked me up. I'm at his ranch waiting out the storm. I'll get to Billings as soon as the road's clear." "Oh, thank God, you had me so worried. Is this man trustworthy? Are you safe?" Jamie looked at Cole, who was giving him privacy by pretending to read a magazine. "Yeah, Grandma, I'm safe. His name is Cole Hartley and he's been really kind." "Well, you thank Mr. Hartley for me, and you call me tomorrow, you hear?" "I will. Love you, Grandma." Love you too, sweetheart, Merry Christmas. After hanging up, Jamie felt emotion welling up. Grandma Rose had said Merry Christmas like it was normal, like everything was normal, like he was still worthy of holidays and love. You okay? Cole asked quietly. Yeah, just it's been a rough few months. Cole nodded, not pushing. Well, you're safe here, get some sleep, we'll figure everything out in the morning. Jamie woke the next morning to find the world completely white. Snow had piled up against the windows and more was still falling. He could barely see the barn through the blizzard. Cole was already up making coffee and breakfast. Morning, he said, hope you like pancakes, it's about all I know how to make besides chili. Pancakes sound perfect. They ate together and Jamie found himself studying Cole in the morning light. He was attractive in that rugged, masculine way, all strong jaw and capable hands and quiet confidence. Jamie quickly looked away, reminding himself that Cole had saved him, given him shelter, been nothing but kind. He couldn't repay that kindness with an awkward crush. I need to tend to the horses and check the fences, Cole said after breakfast. Storm like this, I need to make sure everything's secure. You're welcome to come along if you want, or you can stay here where it's warm. I'll come, I want to help if I can. Cole smiled, all right then, let's get you bundled up. They spent the morning working in the storm, feeding horses, checking on the cattle in the nearby pasture, repairing a section of fence that had blown down. Jamie was useless at first, but Cole was patient, showing him how to do things, never making him feel stupid for not knowing. You're doing good, Cole said as they worked on the fence. City kid or not, you're a hard worker. The praise made Jamie's chest warm in a way that had nothing to do with the physical labor. By afternoon, they were both exhausted and frozen. Back in the house, Cole built up the fire and made hot chocolate. You know what day it is? He asked. December 24th, Christmas Eve. Used to be my favorite day of the year. My mom would make this huge dinner and we'd open one present early. Then we'd go to church, not that I was ever much for church, but it made Mom happy. He stared into his mug. First couple years after they died, I tried to keep up the traditions, but doing it alone just felt sad, so now I usually just treat it like any other day. I'm sorry, Jamie said softly, about your parents. Thanks, what about you? You said you were going to your grandma's, but you didn't mention your parents. They not big on Christmas? Jamie hesitated. This was the moment. He could lie, change the subject, keep his secret, but something about Cole made him want to be honest. They kicked me out, he said quietly, 6 months ago because I'm gay. He waited for Cole's reaction, disgust, discomfort, the sudden coldness he'd experienced from so many others, but Cole just nodded slowly. That why you were driving through a blizzard with your life in garbage bags? Yeah, Grandma Rose is the only one who still talks to me. She invited me for Christmas and I wanted to be somewhere I was wanted, you know. Your parents are idiots, Cole said bluntly, and I'm sorry you went through that. No kid should be thrown out for being themselves. Jamie blinked back tears. You don't, it doesn't bother you. Why would it bother me? Cole met his eyes. Jamie, I'm gay too. The world tilted. You what? I'm gay, Cole repeated. Have been my whole life, just don't advertise it around here. Small town, conservative area, people might not be violent about it, but they talk. And I've got a business to run, a ranch to maintain, easier to just keep it to myself. But you're a cowboy, a rancher. Cole laughed. Gay people come in all types, Jamie, even cowboy types. I know the stereotypes we're all supposed to be hairdressers or fashion designers or whatever, but some of us are just regular folks who happen to like men. Yeah. I didn't mean. I know, and honestly, living out here, I don't meet many other gay guys, so I'm mostly just alone. He said it matter-of-factly, but Jamie heard the loneliness underneath. Is that why you don't have plans for Christmas? Part of it, hard to date when you're in the closet, and harder still when you're 40 miles from the nearest town. He stood up. Anyway, I'm going to make dinner. You like steak? I like anything that isn't ramen or canned soup. That's all I could afford at my apartment. Well, tonight we're having steak, mashed potatoes, and green beans, and for dessert we're making Christmas cookies. We are. Yep, it was my mom's tradition. We're not letting her memory die just because it's sad. They cooked together and Jamie discovered that Cole was actually a decent cook when he put effort into it. The steak was perfect, the potatoes creamy, and the cookies, slightly lopsided sugar cookies decorated with too much frosting, were delicious. As they ate dinner by the fireplace, Jamie felt something shift inside him. For the first time in 6 months, he felt safe, accepted, like maybe things could be okay. "Can I ask you something?" Jamie said. "Shoot. Don't you get lonely out here by yourself?" Cole was quiet for a long moment. "Every day, but it's the life I chose, or maybe the life that chose me. This ranch has been in my family for generations. I can't just abandon it. And I can't exactly be openly gay in a town where everyone knows everyone and half the population thinks being gay is a sin. That's not fair." "No, it's not, but it's reality." He looked at Jamie. "What about you? What are you going to do after Christmas?" "I don't know. I've been working at a grocery store, living in a crappy apartment with 2 roommates who barely talk to me, saving money for college maybe, but honestly I don't have a plan, I'm just surviving." "You're 17, you've got time to figure it out." "Everyone keeps saying that, but it doesn't feel like I have time. It feels like I'm drowning and everyone's telling me to just swim harder." Cole nodded slowly. "I remember that feeling. When I was your age, I was terrified. Knew I was gay, knew it would disappoint my parents, knew this town would never accept me. I almost left, had a scholarship to a college in Seattle, was going to start over somewhere I could be myself." "What stopped you?" "My dad got sick, cancer. I stayed to help run the ranch, and by the time he passed, my mom needed me too. Then she was gone and I inherited everything, and by then it felt too late to leave." "Do you regret it?" "Sometimes, but mostly I love this life. I love the work, the land, the horses. I just wish I didn't have to choose between being myself and having the life I want." They were both quiet, staring into the fire, the weight of shared loneliness settling between them. "Thank you," Jamie said finally, "for telling me, for being honest. I felt so alone these past few months, like I was the only person in the world dealing with this. It helps to know I'm not." "You're not alone, Jamie, and you're going to be okay. I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but you will." Later that night they watched It's a Wonderful Life on TV, ate too many cookies, and talked about everything and nothing. At midnight, Cole stood up and stretched. "Merry Christmas, Jamie." "Merry Christmas, Cole." Jamie went to bed feeling lighter than he had in months, maybe even happy. Jamie woke to the smell of coffee and bacon. He stumbled out to the kitchen to find Cole making a huge breakfast: eggs, bacon, toast, and even cinnamon rolls from a can. "Merry Christmas," Cole said, grinning. "Figured we should do it right." "This is amazing, you didn't have to." "I wanted to. Besides, Christmas breakfast was always a big deal in my family." After breakfast, Cole disappeared for a few minutes and returned with a wrapped package. "I know we just met, but I couldn't let you spend Christmas without a present." He handed it to Jamie, looking almost shy. "It's not much." Jamie unwrapped it carefully. Inside was a thick, quality winter coat, the kind that would actually keep him warm in Montana winters. "Cole, I can't, this is too much." "You need it. That jacket you had wasn't going to cut it, and before you argue, it was my dad's. He was about your size. I want you to have it." Jamie felt tears building. No one had given him a thoughtful gift in so long. "Thank you, this is thank you." "You're welcome, kid." "I don't have anything for you," Jamie said, embarrassed. "Yes, you do. You gave me company for Christmas. First time in 3 years I haven't spent it completely alone. That's gift enough." They spent Christmas Day relaxing, watching movies, playing cards, talking. The snow finally stopped in the afternoon, revealing a world transformed into a winter wonderland. They went outside and Cole showed Jamie how to make a proper snowman. "Your technique is all wrong," Cole teased as Jamie tried to roll a snowball. "Here, like this." He stood behind Jamie, his arms around him, guiding his movements. Jamie's breath caught at the proximity, at the warmth of Cole's body against his back. Their eyes met and something electric passed between them. Cole stepped back quickly. "Sorry, didn't mean to." "It's okay," Jamie said, his heart pounding. But the moment had shifted something. The rest of the day felt charged, both of them hyper-aware of each other, careful not to touch, not to get too close. That night, unable to sleep, Jamie got up for water and found Cole sitting by the dying fire, nursing a glass of whiskey. "Can't sleep either?" Cole asked. No, Jamie sat down on the couch. Cole, can I ask you something?
Sure.
When you touched me today when you were helping with the snowman, did you feel it too, that moment? Cole closed his eyes. Jamie. I need to know I'm not imagining it, this connection between us. I know I'm young and I know you're just being kind, but… You're not imagining it? Cole interrupted. I've felt it since I picked you up on that road, and it's been killing me because you're 17 and you're vulnerable and I'm supposed to be the responsible adult here. I'm almost 18, my birthday is in 3 weeks. That doesn't change the fact that you came here because you needed help, not because you wanted to get involved with someone, and I won't take advantage of that. You're not taking advantage, Jamie insisted. Cole, I've been out for 6 months, I've dated well, tried to date, I know what I feel, and I feel something for you. You've known me for 2 days. Sometimes 2 days is enough, Jamie moved closer. I'm not asking you to make promises or declarations, I'm just asking you to be honest about what you feel. Cole looked at him and in his eyes, Jamie saw longing and fear and want. I feel like I've been waiting my whole life for someone to look at me the way you do, like I'm not just the lonely cowboy who lives by himself, like I'm someone worth knowing. You are worth knowing, you're kind and funny and strong and you saved my life. I picked you up in a storm, that's just basic human decency. You gave me a home for Christmas, you made me feel safe when I haven't felt safe in months. Cole, that's not basic decency, that's extraordinary. They were inches apart now, the firelight casting shadows across Cole's face. Jamie could see the internal battle happening, responsibility warring with desire. If we do this, Cole said slowly, we have to be smart about it, you're still figuring out your life. I can't be the thing that holds you back from whatever you're meant to do. What if you're not holding me back, what if you're helping me move forward? Cole reached out, his hand cupping Jamie's face with infinite gentleness. You're something special, Jamie Morrison, you know that. So are you, Cole Hartley. When Cole kissed him, it was soft and careful, like Jamie was something precious that might break. And for the first time in 6 months, Jamie felt whole. They spent the next 2 days in a bubble of happiness. The roads cleared, but neither of them mentioned Jamie leaving. They worked on the ranch together, cooked meals, talked for hours, and at night they'd sit by the fire, Cole's arm around Jamie's shoulders, both of them marveling at how quickly this had happened. I should call my grandma, Jamie said on the 3rd day, she's probably worried. He dialed the number, and Grandma Rose answered immediately. Jamie, where have you been? The roads cleared yesterday, I expected you by now. I know, Grandma, I'm sorry, I'm still at Cole's ranch, I've been helping him with the ranch work. There was a knowing pause, and what? Jamie, I've been alive 73 years, I know when my grandson is dancing around something, what's going on. Jamie glanced at Cole, who was pretending to read the paper but was obviously listening. I think I'm in love with him, Grandma. The cowboy who saved you.
Yes.
Another pause, then, surprisingly, a laugh. Well, that's the most romantic thing I've heard in years. Is he good to you? He's amazing to me. Then, honey, what are you doing on the phone with me? Go be with him, but you better bring him to meet me eventually. Really, you're not mad? Mad, Jamie, you've been miserable for 6 months. If this man makes you happy, then I'm thrilled. Now go and Merry Christmas, sweetheart. After hanging up, Jamie turned to find Cole watching him with a soft expression. She approves, Cole asked. She wants to meet you. That's serious already. Jamie crossed the room and sat in Cole's lap, something he'd been wanting to do for days. Could be, if you want it to be. Cole wrapped his arms around him. Jamie, I need you to understand something. I'm 40 miles from civilization. I work 7 days a week, I can't leave the ranch easily, and I can't be publicly out. If we do this, really do this, it means you'd be living a pretty isolated life. Or it means I'd have a home and someone who loves me and a purpose. Cole, I don't care about living in a city or being part of some big gay community. I care about being somewhere I'm wanted, being with someone who sees me, and that's you. You're 17, you haven't even graduated high school. I'm getting my GED next month, I was going to anyway. And Cole, I know this is fast, I know it's crazy, but I also know I don't want to leave. I want to stay here with you and learn about ranching and build something together. What about college? I can take online classes or go later. I don't have to do everything right now. He cupped Cole's face. Stop trying to talk me out of this unless you don't want me here. I want you here, Cole said fiercely. God, Jamie, I haven't wanted anything this much in years, but I need you to be sure, really sure.
I'm sure.
6 months later. The summer sun was warm on Jamie's face as he mended a fence with Cole, their movements synchronized after months of working together. He'd gotten his GED in February, started online classes at the community college in March, and spent every other moment learning about ranch life from Cole. It hadn't been easy, the work was hard, the isolation sometimes difficult, and coming to terms with his new life had taken time. But he'd never been happier. You're getting good at that, Cole said, watching him work. Had a good teacher, Jamie grinned. Plus, I'm motivated, this place is home now. That it is, Cole pulled him close, kissing him soundly. They could do that now, out here on their land, they could be themselves. What do you say we knock off early, go for a ride before dinner?
Sounds perfect.
Later, as they rode across the property, Jamie on Rosie, who'd become his horse, Cole on Buck, Jamie thought about how his life had changed. How a broken-down car and a blizzard had led him to this, a home, a purpose, love. You ever regret it? Cole asked, as if reading his mind. Staying here instead of going to your grandma's, living this life. Never, not once. Jamie looked at the man beside him, the cowboy who'd saved him in more ways than one. You gave me everything I didn't know I needed. We gave each other everything, Cole corrected. I was barely living before you showed up, just going through the motions, working myself into the ground to avoid thinking about how lonely I was. You brought me back to life, Jamie. That night over dinner that they'd cooked together, Cole pulled out a small box.
What's this? Jamie asked.
Open it. Inside was a silver ring, simple, sturdy, practical, ranch appropriate. I know we can't get married, Cole said. Not legally, not publicly, but Jamie, I want you to know that as far as I'm concerned, you're mine and I'm yours for as long as you'll have me. Jamie's eyes filled with tears. Forever sounds good. He slipped on the ring and Cole did the same with an identical one. They weren't husbands in the eyes of the law, but they were partners in every way that mattered.
Years later.
It's been 5 years since that Christmas when a broken-down car and a blizzard brought Jamie to Cole's ranch. 5 years of building a life together, of learning and growing and loving. Jamie finished his degree online, now helps run the business side of the ranch. They've expanded, bought the neighboring property, increased their herd, hired help during busy seasons. They're successful, stable, happy. They still spend every Christmas alone on the ranch, just the two of them, honoring the holiday that brought them together. They make too many cookies, watch old movies, and exchange thoughtful gifts. But they're not lonely anymore, they have each other. And every year, on December 23rd, they drive out to the spot on the highway where Cole first picked up Jamie. They stand there in the cold, remembering. Best decision I ever made, Cole always says, stopping for that stranded kid. Best thing that ever happened to me, Jamie always responds, breaking down in the middle of a blizzard. Because sometimes the worst moments of your life lead to the best. Sometimes being lost means being found. And sometimes a lone cowboy on a frozen road is exactly the Christmas miracle you need.
The end.
This story is about finding home in unexpected places, about love that sees past labels and circumstances, and about the courage it takes to build a life true to yourself. Whether you're on a frozen highway or lost in life, remember, your rescue might be just around the corner.